All right, a guy calls me up yesterday. It's a true story that happens. He calls me up. He says, Rabbi, I was always a failure from elementary to high school. And I know you tell me life is like, that Hashem tests a person. So I failed my whole life. Who says I'm going to pass Hashem's test? That's what he tells me. What do you answer like that? Teddy, what do you answer a guy like that, Teddy?
Never give up.
Never give up. Never give up. Listen. Listen to this. So what I do, I come in this morning, Rabbi Batty comes and tells me Bezrat Torah. He says, what's this Bezrat Torah? He says, Rabbi, I have to tell you something. What? He tells me like this. He says, it says Moshe, it says in the Pasuk, it says, Vayigdal Moshe. What does it mean, Vayigdal Moshe? He got older? What does it mean? So he says, that means, he was quoting somebody who heard it from one of the rabbis. He says, Vayigdal Moshe, it says right after that, he grew up to understand, even though he was born in a king's house, in Paro's house, he went out to help the people. That's his greatness. A person's chilled, relaxed. He doesn't have to go out to help. No, goes out. My people are suffering. I'm going to go help my people. I'm going to go out of my way to help the people. It says Vayigdal Moshe. It says he did a step. He did one step. That being said, it says a person in life. What's the Vayigdal Moshe? Even how do you do it? He saw an older guy. He says, "Listen, what are you carrying? Oh, you're carrying that thing. I'll carry it for you. It's a small step, but that step leads to bigger step, bigger step, bigger step, bigger step, bigger step." Let me tell you another example. Lubavitcher Rebbe, one time he sent to the IDF a letter saying it's Hanukkah. Some of the people weren't religious in the IDF. He says these people, we're going to send them donuts. He says, what do you mean? Tell them to light the menorah. Tell them like do something. What do you mean? Send them donuts. What does donuts have to do with that? It's like donuts. We eat donuts, but give them the spiritual thing. Give them something to connect it to Hanukkah. Give them donuts, uganiyot. He says, and that will lead to other steps of greatness. Just start with your first step, and that will lead to get your foot in the door. That will lead to other things. Another story about the Lubavitcher Rebbe. One time, a guy he wrote him a letter. He wasn't a religious guy. He wrote a Lubavitcher Rebbe a letter. He dated it in English. He says, "No problem." He writes him back. "I love the letters that you send me. I love the questions. But do me one favor. From now on, if you could write just the Hebrew date on top instead of the English date." So they asked the rabbi, like he's secular, he's not even religious. Like, what do you mean the Hebrew date? He says that's a foot in the door just to hear the Hebrew date, just to start him up, just to start. You see, in life, a person, life is full of challenges. Life is tests. Life is tests. But guess what? That's fun. That's fun. Because if it wasn't challenging and if it wasn't a test, then okay, it becomes boring. Imagine your whole life, every single day, you don't know, it's the same routine every single day. Over here you have a challenge. Oh, this is challenge and that's a challenge. It's fun. It's fun. It's really fun if you think about it. You ever think about it, Mike? Think about it for a second. Yeah, now you think about it. It's fun. Imagine the Yetzirah didn't try to test you. Imagine you had no tests. Imagine you had no tests at all. That'd be boring. Now all of a sudden you have a test here, you have a test there. Should I speak Lashon Hara? Should I not speak Lashon Hara? A guy was telling me about, I was speaking to him about kazai. He's having kazai. So now every time I eat I have to weigh my food. No, you don't have to weigh your food, but at the end of the day it's challenging. Every single time, yeah. Are you going to have kavanah in your prayer? You're not going to have kavanah in your prayer. Are you going to have kavanah when you make a bracha? You're not going to have kavanah in bracha. It's a challenge, yes. It's a test, yes. But guess what? That's the fun. That's fun. That is fun. I tell you a famous story. I always say this, but it's an amazing story. I love it with a passion. What happened? They came to Rav Kala. When they came to Rav Kala, what happened? There was a kid. There was a young boy. He was maybe 18, 16, something like that. He comes to me and says, Rabbi, I don't have a desire to learn Torah. So he says, oh, Rav Aaron says, I'm jealous of you. I wish I had that. I was like, what do you mean? He says, my whole life, Rav Aaron says, my whole life, I always had a desire to learn. I always wanted to learn. But imagine I learned when I wasn't in the mood. Wow! You have that Yetzirah, let's say, for example, you have that little tin, Josh, I learned, whoa, and you're learning anyway. What is chut that isn't shamayim? What is chut that isn't shamayim? And that's why a person has to understand that. Challenges and tests is all part of the fun of life. It really is. It really, really is. And I told this guy, I says, listen, at the end of the day, when you're passing a test, even you pass it, you put a foot in the door, you started passing your test. You just try a little bit, you're passing the test. This is the great lessons we have to know. Remember these lessons, and Shabbat Tzlacha.